I get off stage. He goes, yo, man, you real funny, man. My name is. I was like, I know who the hell you are. You Will Smith. He goes, yeah, man, I got this brand new TV show. I'm like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I watch it every week. It had only been on 2 years at that time. He goes, well, let me ask you a question. He's like, do you write? I'm like, do you have a pen?
What's going on? It's Keyshawn, and welcome to my show, All Facts and No Breaks, presented by Oikos. Stronger makes everything better. Remember to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on all social media or wherever you get your podcasts, for that matter. Joining us today is a stand-up comedian and actor who has been in countless movies, television shows, including The Jamie Foxx Show, Don't Be a Menace, The Players Club, but my favorite thing that he's ever done is a Burger King commercial in a drive-thru. This is my good friend Alex Thomas, major comedian out of Los Angeles. What's up, Al?
What up, Key? I can't, man. First of all, you got a dope set, bro.
Well, that's the production team. That has nothing to do with me.
Man,
That's
I'm
Chelsea,
proud of you.
Chelsea and Angie and the rest of the boys back there. They put all this together. I come and make it, make it right.
Right, you know, see what it is you added the extra flavor and the
Yeah,
seasoning.
absolutely.
The sauce.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, I'm proud of you, though. Like, for real, knowing where you came from, and we pretty much came from the same place, I'm happy. I could have told you that in the text or the phone, but I said, you know what? I'm going to be real today. So I just got to give you your props, give you your flowers while you can smell them.
No, I'm good, man. Postseason career's been pretty
Right.
successful, I must say.
Should.
I've been in television longer than I played football. I played 11 years. I know I played 11 years, but I left early, probably like 5 years too early. I got tired of the bullshit and just didn't want to play. But I've been in TV now going on 19 years. So
But one thing I know about you, you were a businessman even when you were playing.
try to be.
Am I right?
No, I try to be.
No, because I know a lot of cats
I try
that
to
when
be.
the career was over, but they was out there trying to shoot dice to try to make a living. you had it kind of together at an early age. So yeah, that's how far
No,
back
it's
we
good.
go.
I mean, we both grew up in South Central Los Angeles. So let's talk about a little bit of our upbringing in South LA.
Yeah.
I mean, the 80s and 90s. South Central Los Angeles obviously is, I tell people, if you ever been to Harlem, you've been to the Bronx, you've been to certain parts of Brooklyn, you've been down to certain parts of Miami, you can package
Ward and
you can
Houston
package
and
all that up, it ain't gonna never equal South LA.
Period.
It ain't gonna
I mean,
never.
I say this just from being a stand-up comic, and I mean, real talk, for the last 25, 30 years, I've done 35, 40 cities a year doing stand-up. So I've been to every city in America like you with sports. The hood is the hood, right?
Yeah,
So I never
absolutely.
like to knock somebody's hood,
No.
because then people be like, your hood ain't harder than mine. I mean, it's unfortunate craziness happens in all of them.
Yeah.
But yes, where
It's
we
just
from,
it's just a different, it's not that it's not wild shit that go on in those
Right.
places.
right.
It's just that ours is a little different.
It's different.
It's just a different. It's like going to a restaurant. Yeah, you can go to a certain restaurant and get a certain steak.
Right.
But then if you go to another restaurant, the steak is just that much.
Absolutely. And you know what a lot of people say, Key? I know you heard this before. People come, like, say you are from Brooklyn, or
Yeah.
say you are from Liberty City in Miami or
Yeah.
whatever. They come to LA and they all say the same thing when they hit our hoods. They go, man, I thought this was Beverly Hills. Y'all got grass in your front yards.
Yeah, they always say that.
Nice cars driving down the street. Like, no, don't get
You
it
have
twisted.
no idea.
Yeah, no. It can jump
Yeah,
off in 2.1 seconds.
Once the daylight goes down,
Oh, yeah.
it turns into something different. So how did you manage to survive, as they say, survive out of South
How to
Central?
survive in South Central.
Yeah, how did you manage
Well,
that?
man, I have a very interesting story, Key, and I don't even know if you knew this, man. I was the only black kid in an all-white private school for 10 of those years, just because it was so crazy growing up in South Central in the 80s. I had family that was Crips. I had family that was Bloods. But my parents are like, so you don't get caught up in the streets?
We're going to see you with the white
We're
folks.
sending you to the heart of Beverly Hills,
Yeah.
Burton Way and Doheny, to be exact, to an all-white private school called Berkeley Hall, right?
Yeah.
So Berkeley Hall now is where all the super, rich
Yeah.
white kids, the superstar kids go. But a little fact, I was the first black kid to go to that school in 1976. I was the inaugural Negro. I'm not even lying. So I'm gonna take it a step further. It was so crazy at my school, right? Leaving from South Central, I got teased every day by the gangbangers and the hood cats are like, you sound like a white boy. You act like a white boy. I used to be like, holy cow, whatever gave you that idea, right? So long story short, because I wasn't doing the things
Yeah.
that the brothers was doing, I got teased. So for example, I was slow as a snail. I couldn't jump. I was horrible at football and basketball, but a brother can swim with the Dolphins. I could hit a 2-iron 250 yards. I got teased because I was doing the white boy things. Put it this way. By 13, I had been to so many bar mitzvahs, right?
Yeah.
I've been to more bar mitzvahs than barbecues. Okay. Put it this way. By 14, my mother, true story, custom made me my own yarmulke.
Mm.
She made it out of a purple Crown Royal bag. I was walking around school looking like a little black Jewish pimp.
Well, I mean,
This is
hey.
true. This is true
No.
stuff. Put it and another thing, right? So when I'm around a lot of my white friends that know about my history, they go, "So how did you honestly avoid the crime, the gangbangers?" I said, "It's simple. My parents kept me involved in so many positive
Yeah.
activities that I didn't have time for crime. They wanted me to go on a drive-by, but I had choir rehearsal. They wanted me to rob the liquor store with them, but I had soccer practice.
Mm.
I was swamped. But thank God
Yeah.
that they did that because, and not knocking none of the brothers that were caught up in those circumstances. A lot of them ended up being great people, right?
Yeah.
I was
Absolutely.
just very fortunate that my parents showed me other stuff. And who knew one day I'd end up being a comedian that like can relate to all people because I was around white kids. So I knew how to make them
You know what's
laugh
so
and the brothers too.
so crazy is very similar. So obviously I went to many schools in
Right.
South LA,
Right, right, right,
bounce
right.
around.
Right, right.
Uh my final junior high was Audubon Junior High.
Audubon.
I too went to a predominantly white high school
Right,
originally,
right. Oh,
which
before
was
Dorsey.
before Dorsey, which was
Okay.
Palisades.
Golly,
And I got over there and I got to
you were
fucking
bust.
around and I get bust.
Come on now.
But I was trying to get out
Right.
of everything. But once I got over there and after a year passed, I said, no, I gotta take my ass back to Dorsey. This ain't for me.
Was that a decision you made or your
Yeah,
parents?
yeah, I made that decision.
See,
I made the decision to go back because
well, you were an athlete also.
yeah, it was like this ain't really. It's cool to be around all these people and they're
Right.
celebrities and they got bread and they living in
right.
Bel-Air
Right,
and the
right.
Palisades and Brentwood. And I get to
Right,
go
right.
home with them
Right.
and all that and hang out when they mama and them is overseas
Right, right,
for a
right,
whole month
exactly.
and we are partying at
Come
the
on,
crib.
man.
That was cool.
Right, right, right.
You're like, hey man, where your parents at? My dad had an oil business over in Saudi. He's gonna be gone for a month. You can stay here with us.
He's away on business.
I'm like, damn. And then the nanny or the housekeeper, whichever it was, they in the back house. They never coming into the house. So
Isn't that
we
crazy?
just doing the most. Doing the most, all right?
Well, you just brought something up. When you said you were bust, let me tell you how bad the neighborhood I was in South Central. It was so bad that the bus from my all-white private elementary school wouldn't come to pick me up. So my parents had to drive me 45 minutes to the nearest point of relief. And you know what that was? Pico and Robertson, right down the street
Yeah.
from here, for that bus to come pick me up. Because where I grew up, over there in the 30s. I grew up there off of Fauché.
Yeah.
Manual, my parents went to Moses. They weren't coming to pick me up. So, it worked out.
Yeah, I went to Fauché too.
You went to Fauché?
I went to Fauché. Fauché was my first junior high because I went to Weems Elementary first. Then I went to 36th Street.
Right.
After 36th Street, then I went to Fauché in the 7th grade. And then at the 7th grade, I didn't want to go to Fauché to begin with.
Right, right.
I wanted to go to Audubon because Audubon was where
It was cooler.
It was cooler.
Right.
It had the half,
Right.
the
Was Audubon,
girls.
I'm gonna ask you a grown ass. This is how you know we LA. We are both grown ass men now. I'm about to ask you a junior high question.
Yes.
Was Audubon more Bloods or Crips? Because it was close to the jungles.
Audubon was split.
It was split down
It
the
was
middle.
split.
Gotcha,
It was
gotcha.
Bloods from the jungles,
Right.
but it's also the 40s and the 60s
Exactly.
come creeping in into the little area.
You know how many people are gonna Google this
But
episode
see,
and find out where the 40s and the 60s are
like I grew up, obviously, and everybody well documented. I grew
Right.
up in the Blood neighborhood.
And I grew up in the Crip neighborhood.
Blood neighborhood, but associated with Crips because of
Right.
sports and my family. So I was split down the middle on both
Right.
sides. But my family is predominantly a blood family.
Exactly.
And everybody know this.
Of course.
So when I go to Audubon,
Right.
they are Crip Fauché was all Crips.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are all Harlems.
Oh yeah, Harlem. That's
You
the
know?
neighborhood I grew up in.
And so when I go to Audubon, I'm like, they know I'm affiliated with my family and everybody for blood. So I just played it as safe as I could.
Sports protected you, correct?
No, sports, hell fucking no. Not
Are you
me.
serious?
No, not me.
I
Sports never protected me.
always thought that if you were a great athlete,
No.
right, they were like, yo, don't mess with him
But
because that dude gonna be somebody and let's fall back
But
on him.
the problem was with me is my upbringing wasn't like the rest of athletes' upbringing
Okay.
because I was in different things that a kid my age probably shouldn't have been hit at that point in time.
Oh wow.
You know, I done been hit twice.
Really?
I mean, I got hit in the calf and in the butt cheek.
Before like you really
Yeah.
developed as an athlete?
Yeah, hit.
So when you
Pop,
did
boom,
what
boom.
you did at Dorsey and USC, you had already had them wounds.
I already got shot, yeah.
Oh, so
I've
you
been
were
shot twice.
you were the original super nigga.
Yeah, basically.
God damn, I did not know you had been shot as you up there catching that touchdown. I did not know that.
No, but many people, you know, if you grew up around me, you know. My family had a history of stuff.
No, I get you.
Yeah, they just
Same thing in my family.
And so,
yeah,
but it was split. So when you made the decision to go to a high school after Audubon,
right.
you can go to Crenshaw, but now you're gonna be embedded with the 60s.
No, yeah, it's something you really
or
have to
you
deal
can go
with.
to Dorsey and I'm gonna be embedded with Bloods.
Right.
Or I could go to Palisades and I'm gonna be with a bunch of cornballs.
Exactly.
And so I said, man, you know what, man? I think I'm just gonna go with the cornballs
Right.
and check it out. And then I got out there. I said, I got to come on back to where
So
I
you
belong.
moved around, like our moving around was.
Oh, I moved around literally. And I think that has affected me even as an adult.
Right.
Man, I done been, my oldest kids, man, my son will tell you, my kids, and part of it is because I play sports too,
Right.
and I was moved from different city to city.
Right.
Man, my oldest kids probably been between little schools and high schools.
Right.
Them jokers probably done been to about 30 different schools.
That's just
man.
because you moved around so much.
Just
as a
moved
professional.
around,
Right.
but I moved around as a kid. I done been this. I
You
went
were
to
used
so
to
many
it.
damn junior highs and
Right.
elementary schools and
Right.
high school,
Right,
and
right,
you know,
right,
it's just
right.
that's
So
when
in
you
my-
grow up like we grew up. That happened.
Oh, exactly. In my case, we moved to the west side by high school. So that's how I ended up going to Fairfax.
Yeah.
Right.
We
So
didn't have no
after-
money to get to the west side.
Say it again?
No money to get to the west side.
Right.
As west as we can go was Normandy.
Yeah, see,
That
so
was
for
it.
me, we moved from over in the 30s off of like Jefferson, Adams, all that,
Yeah.
to Pico, Fairfax. Now
We
I went
couldn't-
from the
we couldn't
Harlems
get
to
over
the
there.
to the Mansfields. So now I'm but again,
We didn't have an extra $500 a month.
so hey, the reason I ask you about did you do the sports to stay away from like the gangbanging stuff? In my case
No.
was I always remember something with Richard Pryor that he said famous when he went to jail. He kept them dudes laughing to keep their minds off the booty. That was his joke, right? In my case, I was always the dude that had all the gangbangers laughing and just having them be like, yo, this dude too silly. He too funny to be banging and getting in the streets. So I didn't know I wanted to be a comedian. That wasn't my goal.
Yeah.
But I figured out I found something that, I was bagging and talking shit. And that's what kept their minds off of me. And that kind of saved me. And then, like I said, we got to the west side and it wasn't, the streets wasn't as hard over off of Melrose like it was off of Adams.
No,
You know what I'm
but I mean,
saying?
it was different.
Right.
Like it's so crazy because I didn't notice till just now though. Those streets and neighborhoods, that's where I grew up at.
Right.
I grew up Jefferson to Vermont, or you
Mhm.
can go Jefferson to Fig
Yeah,
because
right.
of USC.
Right.
So I grew up Western down to Figueroa Jefferson, all the way over to Martin Luther King and Fig,
Absolutely.
back all the way up Martin Luther King,
Back with the
back
Santa
to Western.
Rosalia.
Yeah, right. That whole 2-mile, 3-mile
Before Magic
corridor.
took over the Starbucks.
All that.
Come on, man. We can get real deep LA, but I'll stop because I know you got questions to ask. You know, I can go so deep in LA. We be here 3 hours
we
just
good.
talking about LA.
But I played baseball at Dinker Park. I did all that.
How about my parents met at Dinker Park?
Is that right?
How about, I'm gonna really mess you up. I'm 10 years older than my wife. How about her background was the exact same thing as my background? Her mama and daddy went to Fauché Emmanuel. My mama and daddy went to Fauché Emmanuel. Her parents met at Dinker Park. My parents met at Dinker Park, but it was just 10 years difference.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference. You're not gonna run into each other.
So growing up, for me, because my entire base, for the most part, family-wise, was a hustling family and a life of crime.
Yeah.
I just happened to play sports
Right.
at times when I wasn't doing shit that I shouldn't have been doing.
It saved you. It saved you.
Oh, I would, I tell people
Because you would have went that route if it hadn't been for sports.
I'm so blessed. I should either be incarcerated with an L and a kickstand.
Absolutely.
Or I should be dead.
Right.
But I was spared and blessed by the grace of God to even put me in a position to where I am now.
Let the church say amen.
You know?
Let the church say hallelujah. We got Pastor Keyshawn Johnson.
Man, you so stupid. So you grew up in the industry a little bit. Your mom was a pianist.
Right.
And your dad was part of one of the greatest, I guess we would call it R&B. My producers say R&B. I don't know if Earth, Wind, and Fire is considered R&B, is it?
Well, you know what?
They actually getting ready to go on tour somewhere.
Right. So here's what's Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire goes down as one of the biggest bands in the history of music.
But is it R&B?
It was R&B, but it turned into pop. And why? Because the whole world loved it. So we both can name brothers that were strictly R&B, right?
Yeah.
And remember, as an artist, your whole goal is for the whole world to love you, but it has to organically happen. So what happened was they were just a group out of Chicago. My dad was the beginning of Earth, Wind, and Fire. When him, Maurice, and Verdine were called
Wait, which one
the
is
Phoenix
Verdine?
Horns with the long perm.
Yeah, with the big old
Right,
guitar.
with the long perm. Right.
I used to see him riding around LA in like a little convertible Mercedes.
Oh, yeah, yes, that's him. That's him. But bottom line is, my dad started them they were called the Phoenix Horns, and then they turned into Earth, Wind, and Fire. My dad was Earth, Wind, and Fire all the way up to 1980, so I was like 5th or 6th grade. But
was that cool?
I was an Earth, Wind, and Fire baby. I was when they were
cool,
playing
though?
in parks. Say it again.
Was that cool?
It was incredible, man. I got baby pictures of me in studios with James Brown and Sly and the Family Stone and some of the great, because my dad was a session player. He was actually the wind of Earth, Wind, and Fire. He was the trombones and all that. So people go, well, if you had that kind of money and you were born in, why did y'all still stay in South Central LA? I always say it, and when I tell people, they get it. My dad's mom, she would not move.
Yeah.
They offered her homes in Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Westchester. She would not
Man,
leave the hood. So therefore,
what is wrong
I
with
had
us?
to live there, but they bused me to Beverly Hills to Berkeley Hall.
What the hell be wrong with us? And the
Not
reason
wanting
I
to
say
leave,
that,
not
want
wanting
to
to
leave.
Yeah.
So when I made it to the next level, now obviously I take care of my whole family. It's just part of what the job duties entail growing up. You look after everybody. So I get my mom a crib, everybody. So now it's time to get auntie, my mother's sister.
Get one at a time.
So I'll go and buy a condo, Wilshire Corridor.
Come on, man.
Negro, we try to get to the different strokes bad as a motherfucker.
Exactly.
I buy this condo.
A safe place.
Safe place. Get the bellman, the
no
whole thing.
gunshots every night.
She coming out the jungles. Out the apartment, the jungles. You know, Denzel Traffic where they shot the movie.
Right.
I get her the spot on Wilshire. She got the doorman, the valet, the elevator up to the door, the whole thing. I buy it. It's yours.
Yeah.
She goes, she stay there for about 6 months.
Yeah.
I get a call from her daughter. She gonna move back to the apartment in the jungle because she don't want to be over here with these people.
Oh my God.
I said, God,
Keyshawn,
damn, what the hell is wrong with us?
There is a saying for that. I'm pretty sure everybody in this room knows it. It's called, we are products of our environment. I still have family members, Keyshawn, that ain't been north of Wilshire, bro. I'm happy what they did because check this out. I ended up writing on one of the greatest TV shows of all time because of my background. I didn't know that was going to happen. I ended up writing on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
I wrote on that for 4 seasons, 93 to 97. People are like, yo, how did that happen? Like your background, first of all, I was the only black kid in all white private school for years. I already had kind of those genes and that kind of background. Shout out to Benny Medina because he created it and he was the one that made this happen. But if it hadn't been for Will Smith
Oh, I didn't know
finding
Benny Medina had. Did I know
so
that?
so Benny Medina was like the real Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't think
he
I
is
knew
the
that.
one that brought this to Will Smith, and then obviously Quincy Jones, rest in peace, got involved. But then Will brought me in, and one reason why Will Smith and I got along so well all those years, because it was similar, kind of like the way he was born and raised in Philly.
Yeah.
I was kind of like born and raised like that in L.A. And when I got there, so I'm just tell you the story real quick. People ask, "How did you become a writer on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?" I'm the classic example, Keyshawn, of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
I remember the day like it was yesterday. Uh, July 2nd, 1992, I was a broke stand-up comic. I had $11 in my pocket. Caught the bus to the Laugh Factory up in Hollywood.
I think you was broke. I probably saw you at Maverick Flats.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. For the people that don't know, Maverick's Flat was one of the only places in LA that let young black comics go on. But me, I'm trying to move on up to Hollywood. So I said, let me try the Real Comedy Club. Sat in that line for 14 hours that day just to go up and do 3 minutes on amateur night. I didn't even have 2 minutes of jokes. Got off stage. Will Smith was sitting in the front row of the comedy club. And this was way before he was slapping people, right? So I get off stage. He goes, yo, man, you real funny, man. My name is. I was like, I know who the hell you are. You Will Smith. He goes, yeah, man, I got this brand new TV show. I'm like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I watch it every week. It had only been on 2 years at that time. He goes, well, let me ask you a question. He's like, do you write? I'm like, do you have a pen? He's like, well, when do you think you could come down? You think you'd help us with some stuff like what I saw on stage tonight? I was like, hold on, let me check my schedule. Yes, I'm available. He's like, when do you think you could come down? I'm like, now? Can I get a ride with you? And the rest was history. I was there the next day. I was there for 4 years as a writer on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that sparked
Was Nia
my
on
career.
at the time?
Say it again?
Was Nia on at the time?
Yes, she was. She would come in. Nia would do, guest spots.
Okay.
But you and I both, we all grew up together, Nia, Regina King, and all that. But I always thank Will Smith no matter what, because that was the first check in my pocket in Hollywood. And I gotta correct you on one thing. You were real close. You said the Burger King commercial. How about that was a McDonald's commercial?
Was it McDonald's?
And it was
I thought
the
it was Burger
first,
King.
It was the first job I ever got in Hollywood
Well,
as an
fuck
actor.
it was McDonald's.
I wish I could Google it and find same thing, right?
Same thing.
Yeah, but I can't believe you remember that. That was crazy.
No, because I remember the top was going up and down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the top was going up and down.
You have an incredible memory.
No, I remember.
Yeah.
I totally remember.
Right.
Like
So that
it
was the
yesterday.
beginning of my career,
I
Keyshawn.
also remember you. Now I don't know, dancing on Soul Train.
Man, why you got to bring all that shit up?
I also remember that. That was like in the late 80s,
So
early
your long
90s.
story short, 85 to 90,
Yeah.
15 years old
Yeah.
to 20 years old, I was the hood hero because I was on the hottest show on
was
TV.
on Soul Train?
the
It was
Fresh
like
Prince. Lewski.
Lewski was there.
There was a whole bunch. I was the youngest out of them all. Put it this way. When I started doing comedy, 91, 92, I'm going to name 5 people that this whole room knows. And when they saw me doing comedy, they're like, the little dancing dude, he do comedy now? Run DMC,
Yeah.
Hammer,
Yep.
Tony, Eazy-E, LL Cool J. They all remember me as the pop lock and breakdancing dude on Soul Train
Yeah, I
as a
remember
kid.
the pop locking,
But I was just a
breakdancing
kid though,
dudes
Key.
on Soul Train.
I didn't know where I was gonna go. I just knew I wanted to be in the entertainment business. So that was the beginning. You taking it back to childhood. In a minute, you're gonna ask me what type was I breastfed.
No, I just remember.
Yeah.
You also played a role and a part in Living Color.
In Living Color, I was choreographer for the Fly Girls.
Yeah, JLo and
with
company.
JLo and all them with Rosie Perez. Because Rosie Perez I had met on Soul Train. Cut to, trying to make the long story short, right after Soul Train, she did Do the Right Thing with Spike Lee, and that's when she met Martin Lawrence. And I was always just her little homie that was just a dancer. And when I say dancer, I always got to be clear. You got to be clear when you say dancer now. Pop, lock, and break dancing. Because when you say dancer now, they be like, you was on the pole? You could do the splits? Like, no. Pop locking and breakdancing. And Rosie loved me. And I was just like her little young homie.
Yeah.
And she introduced me to In Living Color, and then that's where I met Damon Wayans, Keenan Ivan Wayans, and they were the ones that like, what the hell you
I
dancing
can't
for? You
believe they
need to be,
still
you
going,
need to be
man.
doing stand up, and just everything that I did. My history was right place at the right time. That's how I ended up being on Martin. That's how I ended up being on the Jamie Foxx Show. That's how I ended up being around the Wayans brothers on Don't Be a Menace, and being around Cube with Ice Cube with the Players Club. I was just that guy that was out and about with some talent.
This episode of All Facts, No Breaks is presented by Cologuard, a non-invasive colon cancer screening test. As many of you know, cancer has personally impacted my family, making awareness around cancer screening especially important to me. Colon cancer is one of the most preventable, yet least prevented cancers. However, when detected early, the survival rate is 90%, which is why screening and early detection are crucial in reducing colon cancer deaths. The American Cancer Society recommends individuals at average risk begin screening at age 45. One convenient option is the Cologuard test, a prescription-based at-home screening with no prep required, unlike a traditional colonoscopy. It's delivered right to your door, allowing you to collect a sample comfortably at home on your own schedule with zero downtime. It's simple, convenient, and affordable way to take control of your health. So ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. Request a Cologuard prescription today at Cologuard.com/podcast. The Cologuard test is intended to screen adults 45 and older at average risk for colorectal cancer. Do not use Cologuard test if you have had anomalous, have inflammatory bowel disease, and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colorectal cancer. A Cologuard test is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Cologuard test performance in adults ages 45 to 49 is estimated based on a large clinical study of patients 50 and older. False positives and false negatives can occur. Cologuard is available by prescription only. So you spent 4 years messing around with Fox on the Jamie
On the
Foxx
Jamie
Show.
Foxx Show, seeing him every day.
How was that?
It was great, man. It was I had looked up to him. He was already coming up big time as a stand-up comic.
But did you meet him you met him obviously at Living Color?
No, I met him in comedy clubs
Oh,
because
in
I was
comedy
just an
club.
amateur.
Okay.
Out of all the amateurs, the two amateurs that stood out to him was Chris Tucker and me. We were the two young dudes coming up those years. You get what I'm saying?
No, I remember.
Remember the townhouse?
Yeah, but I never saw you at the townhouse because I've only been to the townhouse once.
Okay.
I came looking at them.
Yeah, you
dudes
were pro
walking
by
in.
that time. Yeah.
Yeah, them motherfuckers.
You couldn't be around.
My
that
grandfather them, they had a
time.
townhouse.
Exactly.
You know.
Townhouse was an old ex-players and pimps.
Yeah, players and
gangsters.
pimps. But I've been there.
Right. But they had a little comedy room in the back.
But
And
no, I remember Maverick Flats and obviously the Laugh Factory and
Yeah.
and then what
the
was
comedy store
the place on Melrose
and the improv.
the Improv.
I'm at the improv tonight.
Is that right?
I am. I'm
Yeah,
at
so
I'm at the Melrose
I
Improv
remember
tonight.
all those spots.
Right.
Growing up, seeing Red and you,
Right.
Chris Tucker,
Right. We were just the young cats trying to get in
what's
this
the
business.
young lady, the black young lady,
Which one? There's a lot of them.
D. Oh man, that's something D.
There was a lot
Oh.
of girls with D in their name. Stop it!
I
Don't
can't
get
even-
your minds are in the gutter.
I can't think of her.
Your minds in yeah. There was a lot of them though.
I can't think of her, man. I can't think who it is.
Oh, can I give you a compliment real quick on your sweatshirt?
Man, it's your sweatshirt.
Come on, man, that sweatshirt is crazy.
So
Where'd you get it?
You gave it to me. You gave it to me about 2 months ago.
Absolutely. So, long story short, what you guys see right here. Can I stand up for 2 seconds?
Yeah, stand up.
You see that? You see that? Yeah. Is that fly? If it's fly, clap. Yeah. It's called South Central Country Club and long story.
There is no country club in South Central, so that you know.
Exactly. I'm speaking it into existence. So long story short,
very expensive real estate.
Exactly. I've been golfing for 30 years now, and I'm the ghetto Tiger Woods. They call me Inglewoods. Even though I'm not from Inglewood, I'm from South Central, right? So long story short, it was me speaking it into existence because I've been very fortunate. I've always said from South Central to St. Andrews. I'm a kid from South Central like you, man. I shouldn't be playing Bel Air and Sherwood and Pinehurst and Pebble Beach, but I ended up doing that. So I hated the stigma that we get from South Central, like everything and every brother that came out of there is negativity. I was like, let me speak this into existence. So when I do play Sherwood, when I do play Riviera, when I'm around with rich white people, they go, South Central country. I've never played there. I'm like, I haven't either. Right? But I'm speaking it in existence. So long story short, I've always been a fly dude. I always wanted to do my own thing. And I designed this gold ball in this gold tee to represent the rich heritage of African Americans in golf. A lot of people don't know that the most important thing in golf 100-something years later is the tee. And it was invented by a black man.
No, I didn't know that. Now I know.
Dr. George Grant. He was actually the first black dentist to graduate from Harvard University in the late 1860s, and he was a golfer. And he designed the gold ball. I mean, the gold tee. And when you see gold, you think rich, right? You think Africans. You think very high profile. So long story short, the mission statement for South Central Country Club is at South Central Country Club, we represent the rich heritage of African Americans in golf. From Dr. George Grant, thank you, to Tiger Woods becoming the great and the greatest of all time. At South Central Country Club, we stay fly on and off the golf course.
Yeah,
and the new era of golf is now.
Hey, look, Alex, I don't think Tiger would play South Central Golf Club.
Guess what?
Honest with you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. His daddy was a real, you know what? I don't want to say
his daddy. I said Tiger.
Right. So at this point, he won't. But when he was coming up, when he was Eldrick Woods, there's a difference between Tiger and Eldrick. But if people didn't know, he had a real name, Eldrick Tiger Woods. But long story short, my whole thing is this, because a lot of people like yourself, Keyshawn, I know you don't play golf, but I know you like fly stuff.
Well, I'm a member of a club
that I've actually played.
Then ran up my bill. So
right. So I let people know you don't have to be a golfer to rock this. And what's crazy is I have a lot of brothers nationwide, a bunch of my superstar friends and that they're like, yo, I don't even play golf, but that sweatshirt, that logo is so dope. I might have to go buy me a set of clubs. Yeah, start golfing.
I am a member at a country club in Orange County called Shady Canyon.
Incredible course.
And I've been a member there forever, but I've never, ever played golf. And so what I then do is I have friends like Alex who play. And this was the very first time I ever let anybody come, because you can't invite someone on the course without you being there.
Exactly.
But I wasn't going there. So I called the pro shop, and they have a pro guy who goes around with the players and plays with them. So I said, hey, I got a couple friends who want to come down and they want to play. I'm like, oh, they want to play golf, let them come down and they can play, no problem at all. And I say, well, it's going to be a foursome, whatever. So the guy has to be included, whatnot. So Alex goes down and they allow him on the course to play and do the whole thing. I've never had anybody go on. So I don't know the rules other than, hey, go on. So at the end of the day, it's over with. They play their 18 rounds of golf.
18 holes.
18, what I say, rounds?
You said rounds.
Holes.
That'll take a couple months.
See, that tells you right there I don't know anything about golf. So,
and then they play with 18 holes. No, they're not holes. They're holes. Think about 18 holes out there with him. I didn't know Alex was a pimp. No.
But so now I'm like, okay. So I get a bill because they bill me directly. I had no idea. The member gets billed directly. I have no idea. So I look at my bill. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why would I spend that, on this, on that, on this, on that, on tip, on this, on... It was like a lot of money it was a lot of money. So I called them like, say, man. They're like, oh, your guest. I'm like, they didn't pay? They was like, no, they don't pay. You pay for them. I ain't invited him back since. Just so that you know. Never make that mistake again.
But I love your contribution back to the community. I figured that was just Keyshawn giving back. That's all.
I had no idea, though, that I had to pay for my people to play. I've learned since then, every now and then I have a couple people go, come out and play, but then I also go for a lot of the events and I get billed for everything,
So
right?
speaking of bills and golf, I just gotta tell you the quickest story. Ready? So one of my first times, so Will Smith got me into golf,
Mhm.
right? 97. People always ask me, so when did you start playing golf? The year every black man in America started in 97 when Tiger won the Masters, right? So Will started playing. He instantly joined Sherwood, and he has a few of his homies come out. I'm one of the homies, right? So he goes, Alex, you want to play golf tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, who we playing with? He go, I just got a couple of guys tomorrow morning. Just pull up. I'm like, cool. What time? He's like 8:20. I get there at 8:20. And the other few guys, it was Will Smith, Wayne Gretzky, Joe Pesci, and little old me, Alex Thomas, aka
Who's taller, you or Joe
Inglewood.
Pesci?
You know what? I actually got Joe Pesci by a couple of inches. I always tell people I was the funniest short dude in America before Kevin Hart came along. Okay,
Yeah.
I got him by a couple of inches.
Yeah,
Shout
you
out to
got
Kevin Hart.
yeah, you
Right.
good, Kevin.
So long story short, first thing Wayne Gretzky says to me on the tee box is, "Yo, so can you play?" I said, "I got a little bit of game." He goes, "Will, can your boy play?" And Will goes, "Yeah, Alex can play." He goes, "Is he in on our game?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm in on the game." I was like, "What's the game?" He's like, "Five a hole." I was like, "Five a hole? I got that." Will was like, "That's 500 a hole."
Is
I
that
was
a
like,
lot?
"Oh, no, 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 no. He's Will Smith. I'm Alex
Is that a
Thomas."
lot though? 500 a hole?
Yes. It's a lot when you got $11 in your pocket. So let me finish, Key. So he goes 500 a hole. I was like, no, no. You got us twisted. You think all black people look like he's the only Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like I'm the Fresh Prince of South Central, right? So long story short, he goes, we start playing. We start playing, blah, blah, blah. I'm hitting the ball, doing my thing. And out of nowhere, I have everybody laughing. And your boy Joe Pesci goes, well, you're not the only funny guy. Okay. I'm funny. I got a couple funny stories. So Joe Pesci tells us the funny story. He goes, about a week ago, I brought Jack Nicholson to this course to play with me. Jack Nicholson loved Sherwood so much
Mhm.
as a guest. He said, I'm just going to come out here and play by myself tomorrow. On your point of being able to go out there without a member, right? Jack Nicholson shows up to the front first tee and is about to tee off. A marshal comes up and goes, "Good morning, Mr. Nicholson. What member are you playing with today?" Jack Nicholson goes, "Well, I'm not playing with a member." He goes, "Well, with all due respect, you have to either be a member or play with a member to play here at Sherwood." Jack was like, "So how much is a membership?" And at that time, it was $175,000. How about he walks into the pro shop, drops his club, walks into the pro shop, writes a personal check for $175,000, comes back to the deep tee box and says, "Now beat it. You're bothering the members."
I can see that. I can see that.
When you got that kind of paper, you could do that.
They weren't gonna let your ass do it though.
Oh, absolutely not.
No,
They would have kicked my ass right out on the 101 and said, "Take your black ass back home."
So, Alex, we do a segment
Yeah.
here called Strength Beyond the Field, presented by Oikos.
Okay.
Stronger makes everything better.
Okay.
So I want to ask you, what's your strength, or what is your strength that has played a role in your success thus far in your career?
The number one strength that I have that God gave me is my sense of humor. My sense of humor has got me. By the way, I forgot to tell you this. I am celebrating this month, this year. This is my 30-year anniversary of being in the entertainment business
Mhm.
this week. So, my sense of humor. It's got me through every room. It's got me through every audience I've ever performed in. Personalities with people. Making people laugh is an amazing common denominator. It it eases the room. It puts people at ease. And I've always been fortunate to make all people laugh. And that's why I looked up to Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. They're the type of comics that made all people laugh. So
Mhm.
I would say my sense of humor.
Okay, that's a good thing.
That's what's kept me here.
Yeah.
Because like my hashtag, everybody knows my hashtag funny, the funny don't stop. The funny hashtag, the funny don't stop. That has been the greatest thing that ever happened to me. That's what God gave me.
So 30 years in the business,
Yeah.
what are you currently working on right now?
What am I currently working on right now? I have an animated series that is number one right now on Netflix. It's called Motown Magic. If there's anybody out there that has kids between 1 and 10 years old, it's the whole history of Motown.
Mm.
Smokey Robinson is the executive producer. I'm one of the stars of the show.
Smokey still look like Smokey.
Man, Smokey is 73. I played a lot of golf with him, but he looked like he's 23.
He literally looks like he's 20.
Smokey looked like he could be an Amigos video. Smokey looked like he could hang out with Chris Brown right now. Like,
and the crazy thing, I saw Smokey, I don't know, maybe a year ago.
yeah.
And I said to myself, I said, damn, is it good genes or is it Docs? But his eyes look like marbles.
Man, his eyes
I
stayed
don't know
green.
if they contacts?
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think a few of our grandmamas done laid down with Smokey over the years.
I'm sure.
Come on, man. He was
Man,
a heartbreaker in the
his eyes is
'60s.
crazy.
Right. But to answer what you're saying, that's it's number one with black children in America, because you know how it is when you see us, we gravitate to that. So I was fortunate to be on Family Guy for 15 years. And after Family Guy, they called me for Motown Magic. So when you guys go to Netflix and you see Motown Magic, you're gonna see a red convertible 1965 Cadillac. And I'm in every episode, and that's me. My character name is Jimmy Mack.
What so give me the Mount Rushmore of comedians. Now, you know it's only 4, not 5.
Come on, man.
It ain't 6, it ain't 7.
Absolutely. People get that confused all the
Some
time.
people get it confused.
I'm one of those dudes that I'm all about the people I pay homage to who paved the way.
Okay.
You know, don't get me wrong. I know all the new guys, and they're all, I'm cool with people, but I go with who are my goats. My goats. Number 1, Richard Pryor, period, point blank, of all time. That's 1. 2, Eddie Murphy. Loved him. I can sit here and give you all the reasons why, but Eddie Murphy's up there also. A lot of people, young people, you might want to Google him. His name was George Carlin.
I don't know.
George Carlin, white dude, one of the funniest guys, but he was too real for TV in the 70s and 80s. So you ask Jerry Seinfeld, you ask David Letterman.
More too real than Richard Pryor?
Oh, no, for a white guy. I should have finished the sentence. He was too real for white guys.
They didn't want him to act like that.
So basically, long story short, he was that white boy that could go to the blackest room on the planet and kill him. But for the 70s, it was a little too much.
Yeah.
And that's why Richard Pryor really didn't do a lot of TV as much in the 70s, because he was too real for TV. But that was George Carlin. So if you ever want to research, George Carlin was as real as it got. So that's number 3. And number 4, Robin Williams. He's one of the funny. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. Rest in peace, George Carlin. Rest in peace, Richard Pryor. Eddie's still with us. But that's my 4. A lot of guys that I still love. I can name all kind of honorable mentions. There was some of the Wayans family, Martin Lawrence, Jerry Seinfeld. I respect the Jay Lenos, the David Lettermans, the people that did it over the Jamie Foxxes,
So let me ask you this though, Alex, because you mentioned some people that I would never listen to.
Okay.
What's the difference in style? Because see, like a Seinfeld, that shit boring to me. I can't. That don't.
No, I get you. And guess
that
what?
Doesn't move me.
You and while we keeping it real.
Yeah.
You and 99.9% of all black people in America, and there's nothing wrong with it.
That's what I'm asking.
I'm glad you said it, because I'm about to break it down.
Like, what's the different styles? Because see, I'm gonna go Richard, and obviously Eddie. I'm gonna sit there. I remember Richard Pryor with the vinyl albums. I used to listen to them in the family with my mom and them.
Come on, man.
So I kind of.
Remember I said I can name other people? I could put Red Fox up in there.
Yeah, Red Fox.
I could put Bill Cosby up in there. But that was me showing. No. But regardless to what happened with you got me on a whole nother topic. But take a R. Kelly or Bill Cosby. Yeah, we don't agree with what they did, but that does not take away from the body of work that they had.
No, I know.
And that's just me. That's just my personal.
And I get
I get you.
It's just hard for me to watch the Cosbys or listen to art.
Exactly. It's hard for you to listen to a Diddy song right now, but damn.
Lord have mercy.
You know what I'm saying? You can't take away all about the Benjamins. You can't get up there and want to dance. Now, what he did, hey, man, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Did I make a point there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me.
So now back to the styles.
The difference?
Now back to the styles, right? It's 2 different cultures, 2 different worlds. And I love that you use Seinfeld, for example.
Oh, God.
Because guess what? 2 white people, it don't get no bigger than that. To us, but then flip it. To a white person, they might have not have got Martin's jokes as much. When we love it, right?
I can't get some. I don't even know what that shit is.
You don't even know what he's talking about.
I have no idea.
I'm glad you said that. I happen to be a
He
comedian.
used to come into my restaurant
Right.
He'd come into the restaurant, right? Bring up
Right.
a Porsche. He bring it as one of them old
Right.
Porsches and hang.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, he's on a TV show. Big deal.
But it's the same way in the world. I'm gonna name one character that every black person in this room and every black person in America knows. But if you said it to the average white person, they wouldn't know it. And it's not nothing bad. Don't get me wrong. You get white people that are real cool,
Yeah.
that they liked Martin too. But if I said, Jerome's in the house, Jerome's in the house, that's huge to us. And they'll be like, who's Jerome? Not being mean.
No, I
It's just,
get.
that's our
Yeah, I
culture. He is our
Yeah.
GOAT. So me as a comic, I always wanted to be able to go both ways.
Yeah.
That's just me. I'm that dude, Keyshawn.
So you could listen to his whatever.
Man, I
stand-up?
listen to Seinfeld and die laughing because I have that comedy bone. I'm gonna just explain. White people's comedy, I'm just being real. It's much more subtle. It's much more
How did you change your
quiet
voice?
because I have to talk like them. I have to. Keyshawn, you know what I'm gonna do one day? And I would love for your cameras to follow this. What I'm about to say, I could have texted you this. I could have told you on the phone, but I'm gonna say it on national TV. One night, I want you to come see me at the whitest comedy club in Los Angeles. It's called the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach. When I say white, I'm talking liquid paper white. I'm
You the
talking
only
about
one.
homogenized milk white.
You the only one there.
I'm that dude. I wish I could say the word. You know what I'm talking
You the
about.
only Negro.
I'm the only Negro killing the white people because I speak their language too. Now, the next night, come to Chocolate Sundays with me. The blackest night in comedy on a Sunday night at the Laugh Factory. You thought I killed in Hermosa Beach? Come see me in an all-black crowd. Now, watch this. You'll see a standing ovation in both. A lot of comics can't do that. I could take one of the hottest, whitest comedians on the planet, and you'll see him get a standing ovation at the Comedy Magic Club, and then he comes to the all-black room, and you think he's speaking backwards Chinese. Not that he's not funny, because I like him. I get
Man,
it. We just don't have the
Man.
patience to hear, I hate to say it, for that bullshit.
No,
That's why when you said
Yeah.
you don't get Seinfeld, you're like 99% of all black people in America. Yes, some of us watch it, but that just ain't for us.
No, I ain't never. I couldn't tell you a fucking episode.
You probably didn't watch Frasier. You probably didn't watch Frasier.
No.
Look at that. You don't even know what it is.
No.
All that kind of stuff. Super white humor. But there's
I
something.
tried to watch Cheers, but it just didn't work.
Well, that was classic, and that was more my generation than your generation. But again, I was not even knowing as a child. I was a student of comedy and didn't notice. All the white producers in the room right now, I don't see them, but I'm gonna say 3 shows that I guarantee you they all know that my black ass watched as a kid, and it probably makes sense. That's why the guys, Alex Thomas, is so brilliant. I watched the Newhart Show. I watched Happy Days.
Of
I
course
watched Bosom
Happy
Buddies.
Days and Blues
I
Buddies.
watched Three's Company, the kind of stuff.
No, but that was different comedy though. Like I've gone to what's the spot on Melrose?
The Improv.
The Improv. So I'll go over there with a couple of my colleagues at ESPN years ago.
On a white night, like a Wednesday night, Tuesday
I
night.
wanted to just, you have no idea.
I just want everybody to know,
wanted
so I
to-
don't sound like some angry black dude. I just
No,
want to
it's
know
not
that
an angry- it's not an
I
angry
know what I'm
black
talking
dude.
about, right?
I was with a black guy.
Yeah.
And a white female
Of
and
course.
myself, and we decided, hey, they were like, come join us. I'm like, all right, cool. So, stage, whatever.
Of course.
We get to see something like, man, I don't want to sit in the first row, first of all.
Right.
So put me over, shade me off.
Right.
So I sat there probably about 45 minutes.
Right.
Said, man, LZ, man, I'm about to get up out of here. I'm tired.
Bored as shit.
So I got up and tried to leave.
Right.
I'm 6'4", and
Right.
I'm trying to
You
stoop
can't
down.
really hide.
I can't really hide. The comedian see me. He go, oh, I'm that boring, huh? You don't like my stuff, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I got things to do. And I just hurried up and left. I just can't.
But Keyshawn,
Like,
I'm
I couldn't
gonna
get
help
into.
you
I don't
out.
know why.
I'm gonna help you out. People, I'm not making this up, just so you know, because I can only be real with you. And that is why every comedy club in America now, not just now, it's been the last 20 years,
Yeah.
has a black night. And I'm gonna be real with you. If it hadn't have been for Def Comedy Jam,
Yeah.
if it hadn't been for Comic View, if it hadn't have been these black nights, we wouldn't been able to shine because the average black comic wasn't able to be like as fortunate as me that can go on a super white night
Yeah.
and kill. So what the club started doing was they started realizing there's money in the African American and the minority community. So we need to give them a night because the majority of our people are just like you. If to this day, if I took you to Wednesday night to the Improv, you would fall asleep, you would fall asleep.
Oh, I know.
And I'm
I've
not
been
knocking
there.
them. I don't want them to think I'm being mad. It's just their humor.
Their delivery is different.
Boring to us.
Yeah.
So guess what? You got to go to the Monday night at the Improv.
Yeah.
When it's all black. Then it's a different feel. Nothing against him. One of my best friends, I can say his name.
Oh, God, not the best friend.
And I got to say it because he's a legend. And
My
all white
best friend. I have white friends.
And all white people love him. His name is John Lovitz. Anybody here know John Lovitz in all the Adam Sandler movies? Remember, that's the ticket. He was famous on Saturday Night Live.
But see, I like Adam Sandler.
Well, you like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about stand-up in perfect. I happen to open up for John Lovitz right now, all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the whitest guys in the history of white guys, right? Funny as shit to me. But when I open up for him on the road, I'm not even exaggerating. When I say I did about 27 cities with him this year, every city I went to sold out. And the only two black things in the goddamn building was Alex Thomas, the comedian, and the black security out there patting people down outside in front. But the reason he asked me open up for him is because it's my energy.
Yeah,
and I just happen to be a black comic that can go to the whitest room and kill them up. Not a lot of brothers can do that. I've seen, rest in peace, Bernie Mac. One of the greatest of all time, right? A real motherfucking nigga, you understand me? Bernie, I did a movie, rest in peace, Players Club. Bernie was one of those dudes, kind of like before he blew up. I did the Montreal Comedy Festival with him. It didn't get no whiter than comedy in Montreal, right? I personally was nervous because I was a younger comic and they were gonna have me follow Bernie Mac, one of the greatest. I'm like, there's no way in the world I can follow Bernie Mac. But because Bernie was so motherfucking black, they didn't understand him.
Yeah.
That dude that I see get standing ovations every night.
He
one of the kings of comedy in this super lily white hockey room.
They didn't get it.
They did not understand. Me, I went up right after him, got a standing ovation. I got about 10 minutes of hockey jokes.
Yeah.
Because I was the only black kid in all white private school. So with that being said, did that answer your question?
That was a long ass
answer.
About 5 minutes.
But did it make sense?
Yeah, it does. I just maybe I never gave Seinfeld a chance because the cast, when I see it, just pretty much all whites, and it just didn't
felt like it wasn't for you.
Yeah, it just felt like it wasn't for me. And even when I've tried to on pass-bys catch a snippet here and there, I couldn't laugh. I'm like,
yeah, I get it.
What is that?
And if you came and saw him live, it would be the same thing.
But damn, they playing. Oh well. So you play a lot of golf. You play in a lot of golf tournaments. In fact, my family, because I lost my daughter a couple years ago, so my family for Christmas, my family gave me a gift of starting a foundation.
Yeah,
for in my daughter's name.
Right.
So I'm going to get back to throwing my golf tournaments again.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say it on right here.
Yeah.
I would love to be a part of it.
Oh yeah,
you're my friend.
Yeah.
I know how to put them together.
Yeah,
I've done several golf tournaments.
Played in several of mine.
I played in a lot of yours. Everything you've ever done, man, Key, from your restaurants. I still wish you could bring Rain back. Wayne was one of the dopest.
Every black person that come on our show, they don't ever leave without talking about fucking Rain.
Because, man, when I tell you the good times I had as a single man before I got married.
Say it louder.
Yeah, if you had one now, I would have to divvy up when I come and go because, I'm married now. But, man, when I tell you the food was incredible, the drinks were incredible, the ambiance was sexy. You had all the big events that were going on, and it was a black man in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
It was Beverly Hills. I loved it.
It was a good
look.
time. It was a soul food restaurant in Beverly Hills, but it wasn't your typical greasy slave soul food, so to speak.
It wasn't a cook in the back with a jerry curl and a net over it.
No.
Sometimes they be the best ones, but I understand what you're talking about.
G. Garvin was my chef, my executive chef. I stole him from a restaurant and brought in G. Garvin at the time.
Right.
But we was frying chicken in grapeseed oil, not in fucking
You were thinking
Crisco.
healthier. You were thinking healthier.
No Crisco in the can on top of the stove. But it was fun. It was.
And you know what I loved about your restaurant too? I'm not gonna lie.
Sexy.
Was it around the same time that Denzel Washington had. What was the name of his place?
Denzel.
What was the name of it? It was on Melrose.
George's.
George's. Can I tell you the difference between George's and you?
Well, George's was us.
When you say us, what do you mean?
It was a lot of us.
Oh, yeah. But here's the problem I had with Georgia. Denzel might be mad at me. Norm Nixon might be mad at me because I love them both. They were both owners, but they were a little overpriced.
Was it?
The chicken and waffles at Georgia's was $135. I'm joking. It wasn't that expensive. It wasn't that expensive, but it was like I get you on the west side in this damn near Beverly Hills, but bruh, it's still chicken and waffles.
No, we was expensive too though.
But not that. You damn near had to be a millionaire to walk in there.
No,
I wasn't rich. I wasn't rich, and I didn't have that kind of money, but I was able to afford a martini and a goddamn piece of chicken at your place, bro.
But I'm trying to think. I think we were priced pretty Beverly Hillsy.
Well, I think your wings were about $97. No, I'm just
no, but it was sexy for sure.
No, it was sexy.
Yeah, especially for
all the stars were there.
Single men, single women. It
was a place to be, bro.
It was a hot spot.
And you were before social media.
Yeah, way before. And
if you had social media,
big parties and stuff for big events.
Man, it was huge.
The Grammys or the Oscar parties and all different stuff. It was cool, man.
It was a good reason to get dressed up and get fly and pull up in your whip. Valet used to be crazy. Don't get me going.
People stand outside just to see who getting out the car.
Hey, that girl. Oh, girl, there goes such and such. He getting out of a helicopter.
Oh.
He get to get us drunk tonight.
Boy.
Girl, he got a Lamborghini helicopter.
Don't take me back, man. Don't do that to me. But Alex, man, I really appreciate it. It was fun having you here with me.
I told you we were gonna have a ball because it wasn't gonna be like. This is what I told Key. I said, Key, it's gonna be like me and you on the phone just talking, but real. Like I've done a ton of podcasts. This is the most at home and feel like I'm just talking to the homie
well,
and
not
organic.
Getting you drunk yet?
You got alcohol? You didn't tell me?
No.
Hey, but let them know if you want to get some of this. South Central Country Club.
Yeah, plug it again, man.
South Central Country Club.com. Even if you don't play golf, you can still get fly. It's black owned 100% by us. You understand me? And Instagram funny man Alex Thomas.
Funny man Alex Thomas. All right, that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks again to Alex for joining. Be sure to follow All Facts Pod on social media and subscribe on YouTube. Until next time, peace.